Welcome back to the 60-Day Cloud Security Challenge. Day 8, we are diving deep into AWS CloudTrail. If you have been following along, we spent the last couple days on VPC security, security groups, and network ACLs. That was about controlling what traffic is allowed. Today is about knowing what actually happened. CloudTrail is the most important security service in AWS, and I genuinely mean that. Let me show you why. So what is CloudTrail? Every action in AWS is an API call. Launching an instance, creating a user, changing a bucket policy, all API calls. CloudTrail records every single one of them. Each record includes who made the call, their ARN, the source IP address, the exact timestamp, which service and action they called, the request parameters, and the response. This is incredibly powerful for security. When you are investigating an incident, CloudTrail tells you exactly what credentials the attacker used, what they looked at, and what they changed. Now here is the thing that trips people up. CloudTrail is enabled by default in every AWS account. You can go to the event history page right now and see the last 90 days of management events. But 90 days is not enough for incident response, it is definitely not enough for compliance, and you cannot query it efficiently. You need to create what is called a trail. A trail delivers CloudTrail logs as JSON files to an S3 bucket you control. When you create that trail, 3 settings are non-negotiable. First, enable multi-region trail. Without this, you only capture events in the region where you created the trail. Attackers know this. They will spin up resources in a region nobody is watching. Second, enable log file validation. This generates SHA-256 digest files that chain together, proving your logs have not been tampered with. During a forensic investigation, this is how you demonstrate evidence integrity. Third, include global service events. IAM, STS, and CloudFront are global services, but their events only show up in East 1. If your trail is in a different region and you do not check this box, you miss every IAM change. The S3 bucket configuration matters too. Enable versioning so deleted or overwritten files are recoverable. Block all public access. Set up lifecycle policies to transition logs to Glacier after 90 days, this keeps storage costs manageable. And the bucket policy has to explicitly allow the CloudTrail service principal to write to it. If you get the bucket policy wrong, the trail will silently fail to deliver logs. I have seen teams think they had logging enabled for months when the bucket policy was misconfigured the entire time. Always verify delivery by checking the bucket after creating the trail. Once your logs are in S3, you need to query them. The best tool for this is Athena. You create an external table pointing at your CloudTrail prefix, and then you can write SQL queries against your entire API history. Want to find every console login without MFA? That is a simple where clause on the MFA authenticated field. Want to see every IAM access key created in the last week? Filter on event name equals create access key. Want to know which IP addresses are calling your account? Group by source IP address. Athena charges $5 per terabyte scanned, and CloudTrail logs compress well, so even querying months of data costs pennies. For real-time detection, you can stream CloudTrail events to CloudWatch logs. Then you create metric filters that watch for specific patterns. The filters I recommend setting up on day 1 are root account usage, IAM policy changes, security group modifications, and CloudTrail tampering. That last one is the most critical. Filter for delete trail, stop logging, and update trail events. If an attacker compromises credentials and they know what they are doing, disabling CloudTrail is often their first move. If that alert fires, do not treat it as a warning. Treat it as a confirmed incident. Someone is actively in your account and they are trying to cover their tracks. Attach CloudWatch alarms to these metrics and route them somewhere that pages a human. Email is not enough. Use PagerDuty, Slack with urgent notifications, something that gets attention at 2 in the morning. A few practical things before we wrap up. CloudTrail has a delivery delay of about 5 to 15 minutes. It is not real-time. The CloudWatch logs integration gets you closer to real-time, roughly a minute of delay, which is why you want both. Data events, which track things like S3 getObject and Lambda invoke, are off by default because they generate massive volume. Do not enable them globally. Use advanced event selectors to target specific sensitive buckets or functions. And if you are running multiple AWS accounts under an organization, set up an organization trail in the management account. It covers every child account automatically and individual accounts cannot disable it. Tomorrow we are building on this with CloudWatch security monitoring. We will take the CloudTrail data flowing into CloudWatch and build dashboards and alarms that give you real-time visibility. See you then.